On this Relationship 911, we're talking about
anxiety in relationships.
Find out more right after this. I'm Monika.
And I'm Jan.
And we're talking about, what's the question, Elijah?
Today's question is from Alex, and he wants to know, is it normal to become more anxious when I start a new relationship?
I'm excited about this question because it allows us to take a different perspective on anxiousness and anxiety. So when I used to speak on stage, I would get really, really nervous. And that's what I'd call it. I'd say, I feel really nervous right now, because I'd have butterflies in my stomach and I could hear like my heart beating in my ears and in my head. And I used to feel that it was because that I was nervous and I was going to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. And what I then did was I shifted my perspective. I just changed the word from nervous to excited. And you know what? Excited had the same feelings. I still felt butterflies and I felt my heartbeat beating in my head. And I made it mean that I was excited to be making a difference for all the people who had come to hear me speak.
Well, and I also hear that it was no longer about you. It was about the people you were actually speaking to, who it was always about in the first place.
It was always about them in the first place. So just by shifting how I related to my feelings, by labeling it different, it totally changed my experience. So if you feel like you're anxious in the beginning of a new relationship, what if you weren't actually anxious, but you were excited? You were excited because it was someone new. You were excited because you were going to be doing new things. You were excited because you've been looking for someone and this is like potentially the one you've been looking for forever.
Yeah, and one of the things I would just suggest that you do is write down on a piece of paper all the things that you are anxious about. Because a lot of times we'll run the programming or the story in our mind, and it'll make a bigger story and a bigger story and a bigger story and a bigger story, and more anxiety breeds more anxiety. So by sharing with it or by writing it down, you might actually realize that they're not as many things as you thought, or they're not as big as you thought. And usually at the beginning of a relationship, there are things that are in the realm of the unknown. And things that are a mystery, we can either be a couple of ways about it. We can either be like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready and curious about what the discovery is going to be. Or we can be out of our minds crazy because we're in our heads being critical and judgmental and thinking we need to be a certain kind of way in order for them to like us, to stay, to understand us. And what that typically is that you're bringing your past experiences into the present moment. That's not healthy. So in summary, we talked about shifting your perspective, maybe changing the way you describe the word anxiety into a word that better suits what you want the end experience to feel like. And then take inventory. What are the things that you're actually telling yourself there is to be anxious about? And then finally, maybe there's a little way that you can look at this new relationship in a brand new way and say, hey, I'm not going to bring anything that could happen or anything that has happened to right now, and work on being present in the moment.
So if you like this Relationship 911, please click the like button.
And if you want to share below, go ahead and comment. What are some things that you've done in your own relationships when you've had to break through your own anxiety or the feelings that came forward for you?
And of course, you can click the subscribe button if you want to be notified of new Relationship 911s.
Or check out the 2 videos on the side for more Relationship 911.